How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to Battlegrounds Game Center. I'm Patrick, and today we're taking a look at one of my most anticipated games of this year, Cthulhu Death May Die, Fear of the Unknown. This is the second crowdfunding campaign that Simon did for Cthulhu Death May Die. I originally did the first one. I loved everything about that game. It is so much fun. I was very excited to get this one in, and we got everything in today. We got the base box, we got the Season 4 expansion, as well as the stretch goals box. Then I got a few extras here as well as Ithaca and then Animal Allies. So we're going to take a look at all of this today, see what comes inside each box, and then we do have a few of these available in store and on our eBay, so I will have the link into the description below, so if you want to check that out and maybe pick one up for yourself while they're available, you can go ahead and do that. But let's go ahead and get started by looking at the base game of Fear of the Unknown. Okay, so we'll get the top off here. Now, this box is a standalone version. Now, you can mix and match it with the original box set, because that's one of the cool things that I really like about Cthulhu Death May Die, is you can take an Elder God with a scenario, mix them, and then you have a completely different experience depending on the investigators you play as, and there's so many of them between the stretch goals and all the extras. So, but you can just get this by itself and play it. You don't need the original base box. This is a brand new base box, essentially. So we got our rule book here. The game is relatively simple to play. You have multiple actions you can take, from moving to fighting. You'll roll dice to fight. And then again, you'll have different elder ones that'll be mixed and matched with the different scenarios, and then they'll have cards that you mix together that'll create like the events and the items that you can pick up in the game, with their own enemies that also come with it. So there's a lot going on, but it's a really simple system to get into, and it looks really cool once it's all out on the table. So yeah, and you have your dice checks that you'll do. To turn sequence, you take 3 actions, and then as you take like madness damage, you can get better at rolling dice, but the more madness you take, eventually you're going to go insane and you'll lose, so you got to watch out for that. However, there are some new rules that come with Fear of the Unknown, the Unknown rules. So there's a new board, there's some new Mythos cards, some new relics that you'll be able to apply, and it's kind of plug and play. You don't have to use it, so you can kind of mix and match whatever you want. There's going to be ways to adjust the difficulty. Unknown monsters are kind of like, think of them as like wandering monsters in other dungeon crawl type games. So they'll come out onto the board and kind of disrupt things for you. But yeah, that's the rule book and a nice little rule summary that really explains everything you pretty much need to know to play the game, which I really like. So first we got the character boards here. Now I'm not going to open these up because there's a bunch of them and they're kind of wrapped up here a little bit. But we can kind of take a look at one of these here. So you got your health track here, so if you ever get to the bottom, you die. And now if anybody dies before you summon the Elder One, then the game ends. But once you do the ritual and you get the main boss onto the board and everybody's fighting it, at that point, you basically fight until there's nobody left. Then you're going to have your stress track here, which will be used to reroll dice. You'll have your leveling up, so you'll start at like level 1, but as you go up on your madness, you'll start to go up on this track, and then you'll also start to get more dice. But if you ever get to the end of the track, you also die, so you got to keep that in mind. And then you got your actions here, kind of explains how the flow of the game works. But and every character is unique. They have a mix of 2 of the same type of skills, and then every character is going to have a unique skill. So, and there's a ton of characters, again, between all the different boxes. So there's a lot of variety in this game. The Unknown board here. So this is the Doom track, essentially, where all your information is going to go for your scenario, the Elder One, and how they travel on this track until they get summoned and whatnot, or the game ends. And then this is the unknown monsters and stuff like that will go onto the side. Again, module, so you don't have to include it, but it is an option. And then we're going to have all our tokens here. So I'm not going to really open a lot of this because I have a lot to get through. But all of the different tiles are going to be different shapes that depending on the scenario, will form them in a different way. And then you'll have all your tokens, like your life tokens, like stairs, and summoning for cultists and such. So those are the token boards here. All right, so then we got the rest of the fun stuff here. So these cards are going to be your unknown monsters and probably monster profiles in general. So they kind of look like this. They'll have like their life pool, what they use when they attack, and then they'll have different abilities that go off. And that's how all the monsters will work. you'll have different cards. So these look like unknown behavior cards for the Mythos deck. The Mythos deck is created using an Elder One in the scenario, so it looks like these get added into that. And then everybody's also going to get some type of like phobia. They'll have this little symbol here. This corresponds to your madness track, so every time you hit this symbol, it'll activate. And then you'll have a debuff / benefit that'll happen. Usually they're like either ors, like, hey, if you're this, then this, and then if you're that, you're that. So we got to keep track of these. But everybody will start with one of these. And then we've got our relics here, which are brand new for this edition of the game. Not 100% sure how they work. I think it's after a certain point you get to flip them over, and then they have like new abilities. But yeah, so those are the relics. And then, of course, we got all the scenarios, the miniatures. So the first tray here, you're gonna have your base rings, which are different colors from the original game, so that's cool. These are like little tentacle trackers, which I think are really cool to go on your character cards. You've got your dice, so there's two different types of dice. You got your basic dice, and then you got your insanity dice. So depending on what you roll, different symbols will happen, like the elder sign, or a success, which is the exclamation point, or you get some tentacles, which is how your madness goes up. And of course, miniatures. So wouldn't be a CMON game with some really gross, awesome looking miniatures. And one thing I love about this game too is if you play Call of Cthulhu and you have all this, I mean, you basically have every miniature you would ever need for that game. So, and you even got like investigators to use. The scale's a tiny bit different, but that's all right. They're all the same scale if you use them. So, I've been doing a Call of Cthulhu campaign, and I've been using all this stuff, and it works really well. But we got Serpent Men here, and now you have some new options. So, and then got some flyers. Don't remember what this one is called. So we've got our investigators here. So you get quite a few of them, and then we have our cultists. So these are going to be the crux of the things you're facing, along with the monsters from the scenario. So a lot of nice new investigators. And we got some more big monsters. Very cool. Look at this chunky guy. They just look so good. I would love one day to paint this whole entire, like the original and this. That'll be an ordeal, but I think these would look so great painted. There's just some crazy looking things here. There's that ghast. And you got this big guy. And we have a lot of miniatures to look through. So again, we're not going to like deep dive into everything today because I would like to get through this in a reasonable time. And there's quite a bit. So that's all the base game like monsters. And then we're going to have the scenario packs, and then we'll have the great old ones as well. Now, the scenario packs I'm not actually going to open and go through because typically there's going to be all the cards and all the components, which monsters you're going to use, and then your discovery cards, which is going to be kind of like a narrative part of it where you'll draw them, and you might find companions, or you might find weapons and stuff like that that'll help you out. And you got your episode card. So I don't want to open all these, just let you discover them as you play. But again, you're going to take one of the scenario cards or scenario packs. You're going to choose a great old one, and they all have their own boxes. So if you're keeping everything in the boxes, it's nice and easy to grab and go. But then this box has 2 of the great old ones, and then it looks like you got 6 scenarios, so quite a bit of variation there. And then you'll meld them together. You can put the Mythos cards together. This comes with more tokens as well. Typically a special monster that comes with them, or a minion. And then it explains how their cultists work and everything. So we'll open these just to kind of take a look at the miniatures and everything. So this one is Sathagua. I don't know. Maybe I said it right, maybe I didn't. The big sleepy boy. There's a book from Arkham Files that is all about him. That's really cool. So you got your card here, and great old one. So they have different stages based off how the game's going. You'll go through these different stages, and they'll have different abilities. You got your Mythos cards. All right, so we got our big guy here. Very chunky, big piece of plastic. Looks like a frog. He's very cool. He's just a little sleepy guy. He just wants to sleep. and whatever this is that goes along with him, his minion. So very cool. So that's one of the big monsters you're going to get, or elder ones. And then the second one we're going to get is Azathoth, basically the father of all the elder ones, or elder gods. So he's got his cards, he's got his minions here, some special tokens, and basically every one that you face off will have a new way to play the game. Whether it be like some kind of puzzle that you have to solve or whatnot, which is really cool. So you got your tokens here with that. Minions, Azathoth himself, Mythos cards, and then, oh boy, look at that tentacly goodness. That is awesome. You can't even see his base. It's just a massive tentacles and craziness. It's so cool. Very probably easy to break, so you gotta be careful with him. And then of course we've got the dancers here that come with him. They got their little trumpets, lulling him to sleep, keeping him asleep, because if he ever wakes up, even for a split second, that is the end of everything we know and the universe. So, very cool. But that's everything that comes in the base box, so we're going to go ahead and move on and look at the Season 4 expansion, which was something else that you could get with the game that comes with more monsters, more Elder ones, and so on. So yeah, let's get this cleaned up and we'll take a look at that. Okay, so we have the Season 4 expansion here. This also came with some promo cards, looks like some relics that go in the base game, so it's always cool to see. But let's go ahead and get this open and see what comes inside this. So there's going to be a new rule book here that just kind of goes over some of the new stuff that you're going to get, more components, like Nyarlathotep, which is my favorite Elder God, so it's cool that he's in this. Goes over them unknown rules again, setup, some clarifications, some new tokens. And then another rule summary, so you'll have multiple rule summaries. We, of course, get some more location tiles, which includes some more unique tokens for stuff that comes in this box. So I'm not going to open these. We're going to keep going, but you get more. And then we have another unknown monster sheet here to go with the game, so that's cool. We got more characters. These ones are not saran wrap, so I'll kind of look at them a little bit. So you got like Gary, Anika, John, Sylvia, Rosario. So new people to play with, again, with their own skills and such. So, and a little bit of lore about them on the back. Got more unknown monsters, like Mana Lang, some more relics, some more phobias, which are cool. Mythos cards for the unknown monsters, so we got those. This is a massive box, but we'll get to that in a minute. Oh my god. Alright, got some new investigator miniatures that are going to come, so 6 in total. So you already get so many investigators between this box and the base. Some new little monsters here, like the Man of Lang, and whatever some of these are. This just looks like a deformed turkey of some sort. So, very cool. Got another little box here of monsters. Looks like a spider crawler type thing. And then this big pile of goop with eyeballs. Very cool. Giant like frog. Very interesting. Alright, and then we of course have more scenarios. So it looks like we're going to get 6 new scenarios to play around with. So they're going to have, new components, cards, stuff like that. But this one, again, comes with Nyarlathotep, which is awesome. The main reason why I wanted this one. So we've got a nice big box here for him. So he's got his cards. He also comes with a Moon Beast, tokens, and so we've got the Moon Beast here, which is really cool looking. We have the Pharaoh version of Nyarlathotep. And then we have the Crawling Chaos himself right here. Nyarlathotep's true form. Very, very cool. Massive. So yeah, so he's the only older one that comes in this box. But you get 6 more scenarios and more monsters, another elder one. So you get a lot. And it's basically just a continuation of what comes in the current core box, the Fear of the Unknown. But we also have stretch goals. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at all the stretch goals, which is more monsters and more investigators and such. So let's go ahead and get that open now. All right, so last of the big boxes here is the Unknowable box. This is going to be the stretch goal box. It has a lot more stuff in it. So if you backed the campaign, you would get this box. So it has some information about what comes in it, some skill clarifications, and then a heck of a lot of investigators like Houdini. And these usually this typically is like wacky stuff. So clearly the first one you see is Houdini. And then Amelie, then Isadora, Dorothy, Dolly, Taylor, Ryan. Sometimes they're people that you're familiar with in pop culture and such. Like the last one had like Albert Einstein, Agnes, Vanessa. So very cool. And these ones are just always a little bit more wacky, which is a very pulpy game. So we got an extra discovery card here. Looks like that goes with Anita. So they have their own card to start with. We got token sheets, which has some for additional rules. We've got some more cards here. So here's like a relic, jack-o'-lantern relic. And we've got more unknown monsters, which are, of course, are probably going to be what's in here. And then we've got our scenarios here. So you'll notice these scenarios look a little different. Most of the scenarios are in like the little skinny boxes. These scenarios are a little bit bigger because they typically have miniatures in them. So like they have like their own special minions that you'll bring with them, kind of like how the Elder ones do. But these ones have their own instead with their cards and everything. And then there's 4 of them, it looks like. This one, I was really excited that was unlocked, the Color Out of Space. So you get a really cool Color Out of Space miniature, along with a bunch of mutated animals. You got Dreams in the Witch House, which just has a few new miniatures. And you got Hypnos, which is another Elder one. Very cool. So they're kind of like Elder 1 / scenario boxes, but you still get to add an actual Elder one. So these typically tend to be a little bit harder. At least that's how it was in the original stretch goal box. So very cool. I probably won't really go through all these, but you can kind of see what comes in them. I will, however, look at these. So we got all those investigators, so many of them. You got a bunch of new enemy miniatures. So like, looks like a mutated cat of some sort, some like zombies. This box, again, typically tends to be a little bit more wacky. So you got some more miniatures in there. These weird looking, I have no, bug things with like blades that look like shovels. Some of this stuff is just so weird. You can use these for like proxies and miniatures games, which would be kind of cool. And then we've got the Elder Ones, Nug and Yeb. So this box comes with 2. And they have their own rules pamphlet. That's fun. Very interesting. Okay, and then we've got, oh boy, what is this? Oh, this is a whole new way to play. Yeah, that's the first time it's a big card that has different things. It's like a different track. Nug influence, Yeb influence. Interesting. So that's the first time I've seen that in this game. That's very cool. And of course we have their cards. And it looks like this is how you track on that folding card. So nice, big, disgusting looking monsters. Very cool. Just out of this world. Unknowable. Gonna go insane just by looking at them. And they will paint up so nicely. Like, I cannot wait to see these painted. So that is the Stretch Goals box. You get a bunch more scenarios with more miniatures, some new Elder ones which really look awesome, tons of investigators. But we are not just done yet. We have 2 more little boxes to open that are a little like Elder 1 expansion and a nice little gameplay expansion. So we'll go ahead and look at both of those now. Okay, so for the last 2 boxes here, we've got the Animal Allies and then the Ithaca, the Windwalker Elder one. So this is going to be a new Elder one for you to play with, and this kind of adds some new mechanics using these allies So we're going to go ahead and look at those first, and we'll save Ithaca for last. So we've got the animal allies here. So a little rule pamphlet here, just shows you how to, it's really simple, like just a little 2-page rules pamphlet. You have your cards here that go, they're like little play rates. Now what I thought was pretty cool about these is you got like a little regular version, and then you got a not so regular version, a little mutated. So you got your snake and then your other snake here. It's a little hard to tell with these miniatures, but once you paint them up, you'll be able to tell the difference. So, very cool. It's like different just phases of how they look. Dog, and then of course a cat. So that is the Animal Allies expansion. Nice and simple. But then we got Ithaca here, which is the really cool one. So if you wanted another Elder one, out of all the Elder ones you already have, you can get Ithaca. This will come with the bundle, so you got your Mythos cards here. You got another little token that works with him. You've got your cards, and then of course you got the minis. We got Ithaca here themselves. Just this very creepy, skinny, I don't even know what you would call it. I mean, maybe kind of like a Wendigo, but not. Yeah, I don't know. It's its own thing. And then, of course, it has these monsters that comes with. I don't remember what these are called, but these look little flying monstrosities. But I believe their mechanic is all about like ice and stuff like that, and that you can freeze locations and whatnot. So very cool. I'm excited to play against this one. All right, so that is our last box then. There are so many boxes that come in this bundle. Really cool bundle that you can pick up today actually on our eBay store, or if you stop into the store, you can ask about it and we'll grab one for you. We only have so many in stock, and once they're gone, they're gone. I mean, we'll eventually have the base game available, but as far as all the stretch goals and stuff like that, we're probably not going to have again. So if you want to pick it up, I'd get it now. But if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more like it, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Patrick at Battlegrounds Game Center. See you later.